start of the 13th Tour de Valvoline, the first event on the 1989 South African Rally Championship, is just moments away in blustery weather conditions here in Durban. A record 63 entries have been received by the organisers, of which the leading contenders for line honours should be Cyril van der Merwe and Frans Boshoff in the new Golf Synchro, Serge Damso and Vito Bonafide, last year's winners in the Toyota Conquest, as well as Hannes Grobler and Piet Swanepoel in the Nissan Skyline. The prospects are for a great 2 days racing. I spoke to clerk of the course, Billy Blum, about the new route.
We're actually going up on the Natal North Coast today, and we're using the Natal South Coast tomorrow.
You've had a great deal of rain over the last few days. Has this affected the course?
It did have a great effect on the course, but fortunately the bulk of the rain happened about a week or two ago, and a lot of works have gone into the roads, and a check yesterday and a day before yesterday has shown that the course is in a very good condition.
The 1989 Tour de Valvoline got underway with the field wide open to surprises because of the recently introduced new rally rules. Now the Class B cars, such as the Golf of Johan Evertser and Steve Harding, would have a much better chance of keeping up with cars in the Class A category, where the extremely powerful supercars had now been outlawed, resulting in the entry of more standard type cars which conform to World Rally rules. Stage 1 was a course laid out around Kings Park, and for most drivers this was a first with a new car on a tarred surface.
So here comes car number 2, that's the car.
The leading cars showed their paces through the tight course, but no one could beat the time of 1 minute 23 seconds set by Roelof Vecken in a Class C Toyota. Cyril van der Merwe and Frans Boshoff, drawn in pole position, were the first to test the gravel roads of Stage 2. Their Golf Synchro had not been ready in time for the rally, and with only a two-wheel drive Golf, Cyril would have his hands full against the four-wheel drive Toyota of Damso and Bonafide. Car number 2, the Golf GTI of Evertser and Harding, was flying through the stage. This team was a strong contender to win Class B, and they were proving a force to be reckoned with. But all eyes were on last year's winners, Serge Damso and Vito Bonafide in their four-wheel drive Toyota Conquest. The extra traction obtained by accelerating with all four wheels was what was needed on these roads. Hannes Grobler and Piet Swanepoel also had to drive a new Nissan Skyline in Class B. The bigger vehicle called for special skills to negotiate the narrow roads, but Grobler's experience made it look easy. Another Nissan Skyline which showed great potential from the outset was that of Jannie Hubberg and Douglas Judd. At the end of Stage 4, the strain was starting to show on drivers and cars, but there was little to choose between the leaders. Jannie Hubberg, at this stage lying in the top 5, lost some valuable seconds after overshooting a corner and almost ending up in a ditch. But it did not take long before he was back en route and determined to make up the lost time. Teammates Cassie Coetzee and Wiley Harrington and their Nissan were driving consistently and also had their eyes on the Class B trophy. The day's events, however, had a problem of a different kind for each team.
Well, we had a lot of engine and gearbox problems yesterday. The engine problems we can't solve because it's a sort of a hybrid engine. We haven't got all the parts from Germany yet, something they're developing here. So we're sitting with not the power we should have. And yesterday we had quite a few problems with the gearbox. The exhaust overheated one of the plastic couplings, and I couldn't get first and second on quite a few stages. So we didn't have that happy a day, but otherwise it wasn't too bad.
How did you find the roads?
Roads are very good.
Still up there amongst the leaders were Serge Damso and Vito Bonafide.
We didn't have much chance to try the car yesterday at all, so we went to the start, and I must say for the first time out it's behaving very well. And the route, how did you find the route?
Well, Durban roads are beautiful. I always enjoy coming to Durban because the roads are so good here.
Lying 1 second behind Van der Merwe, the Conquest still had a tough time ahead. Probler and Swanepoel were maintaining their 5th position in their Nissan Skyline.
There's lots of development we can still do on the car, but that we must do after a rally. We can't do it now. But we're very happy with the performance of the new cars up to now.
Is it a big difference to what you were used to, the other car?
Yes, definitely. I thought there was something wrong with the engine yesterday, but apparently all these cars haven't got that power, you know.
At the end of day 1 and an arduous day on the North Coast roads, the cars returned to Durban for the overnight stop and any necessary maintenance and much needed respite for the drivers. Unofficial positions at this stage are: leading is Serge Damso by 28 seconds from Cyril van der Merwe, with a further 7 seconds to 3rd place Glyn Hall. The Durban Exhibition Centre was the scene for stage 9 on Saturday morning. A tight course had been laid out and Jannie Hubbig, who had the 3rd best time of the stage, just made it through the course before the back of his car went into a slide. With the start of stage 11, Cyril van der Merwe was determined to regain his 2nd place after not doing too well at the Exhibition Centre, where he could have done with more traction to negotiate the tight course. Frank Lindemann and Johan Seeling in their Class B Golf 16 valve kept up the pressure on the leading Class A cars throughout the rally. Their biggest rival in Class B at this stage was Jannie Hubbig. In stage 12, the experienced Roelof Fecken and Francois Jordan in their Class C Toyota Conquest, still showing great ability. Teammates Glenn Gibbons and Peter Cuffley were close behind them through the Beneva sugar plantation. Car number 11 was the Nissan dealer team of Dickie Klaver and Guy Hodgson in their Skyline, maintaining their position in the first 10. They were also contenders for the Class B crown. Unfortunately, the rally took its toll, and one of the victims was Enzo Kuhn.
Yes, well, this is my first year in the Toyota team, and we were very lucky with the car. The handling was excellent. That we were leading the class, and well, the motor just seemed to run on 2 persons from the half of the stage, and then near the end of the stage, it just cut out completely, and we just opened the motor, and it seems like the camshaft is broken in 2.
With Kuhn out of the race, it was Koos Roos in a Nissan Sentra who now went into the lead in Class D. The backmarkers too came on hard times.
Ons het net te vinnig om 'n draai gekom met 'n sloot aan die linkerkant. Dit het my agterwiel in die sloot ingegaan en toe het my voorwiel 'n klip geslaan. En toe het hy my teen die skynste opgegooi en toe het ons omgeval.
Have a quite clear leader in the form of Serge Damso in his Toyota Conquest, who has a comfortable lead of 2 minutes and 6 seconds over his nearest rival, Cyril van der Merwe. Cyril is going as best as he can, but it looks as if he's got his work cut out for him today. A few other very interesting developments in the rally. Hannes Grobler was really doing very well, catching up some of his lost time from yesterday when he had to fall out with a blown motor. Jannie Hubbig, the last year's Natal champion, is set to win a Natal regional event this year as well. He is really battling for his 3rd place right now, and by the looks of it, he stands a very good chance of actually finishing 3rd overall.
But nothing was going to stop the Toyota of Damso and Bonafide, now in the lead.
Stand back, please.
Van der Merwe and Boshoff were fighting a losing battle against the Toyota Conquest. The Class B contest had now swung in favour of Lindemann and Seeling, edging past Hubbig and Judd. The start of the last stage and the top positions seem assured. The countdown to send the competitors on their way for the last time. With a cushion of over 2 minutes for Damso, the last stage was treated with caution. VW Golf GTI of Frank Lindemann and Johan Seeling had a consistent 2 days and fittingly were rewarded with the Class B laurels. In the dying moments of the rally, it was a close shave for Roelof Fecken, who went on to finish second in Class C. After a tough 2 days, the unstoppable Serge Damso and Vito Bonafide retained their Tour de Valvoline title. In second place, 2 minutes and 53 seconds behind the winners, were Van der Merwe and Boshoff. In third place overall and winners of Class B were Lindemann and Seeling, a mere 9 seconds ahead of Jannie Hubberg and Douglas Judd in their Nissan Skyline. In Class C, it was another Toyota victory and a lone title for Nissan in Class D.